Hi, everyone. Welcome to Paction's webinar series on how to take better photos of your puppies and dogs, a little DIY do-it-yourself at-home video series. We're taking the opportunity to share ultimate tips and expertise from Canada's best pet photographers, all in celebration of National Dog Photography Day. I'm Brooke, one of the co-founders of Paction, and we're excited to support our community of reputable and intentional breeders across Canada. Today we have Karen of Posh Pet Photography with us. She's going to share 3 short videos featuring first, choosing the right colors for your photos and aligning those photos with your brand. In the second video, she's going to talk about lighting considerations for your photos. And last, in the third, she's going to give us tips about communicating and conveying meaning with the photos that we take. Karen is a photographer who instantly knew she wanted to specialize in photographing pets, and she's been doing so for the last 15 years. She's located here in Toronto, but has been taking photos all across the GTA. Before we hear from Karen, just really quickly, I wanted to share some stats on how important good photos really are. Photos are important because humans, we are very visual. That's why branding and marketing, ultimately exist and why so much attention and resources are allocated to them. So HubSpot put out a study recently with interesting results. So apparently people remember 80% of what they see and only 20% of what they read, and shockingly, only 10% of what they hear. And this really just emphasizes the long-lasting impression that photos make. Specific to dogs, Pet Finder released findings showing that dogs are 5 times more likely to be adopted when professional photos were taken of them, and that these listings online of professional photos of these pups got 3 times the number of views. So, good photos just get more attention. Ultimately, this means that taking great and better photos is a way to open the door in order for you to really showcase the meaningful aspects of your breeding program. So with that, let's hear from Karen. So we're going to start today with the topic of cohesiveness of your brand. So a question that I have for Karen is, if you're unsure about what colors, make the best combinations, how to, match your photos to your website, what resources might you be able to check out in order to make the right decisions around colors and color schemes to implement with your brand?
Well, thanks for having me. And yes, this is a big thing, and this will really elevate your brand if you see some color cohesiveness. So I would start with the colors that are already on your website, which should be based on your logo if you have one. If you don't, or if your logo is black and white, that's no problem. What you might want to think about is, what color are you using as a highlight color on your website? Think of buttons. You can't have a white button on your website because it'll just disappear. So I have seen, neon pink, neon orange, green, all different colors, but that's probably a color that you have either chosen thoughtfully or it just kind of happened. Now, you might look at them now when you see those colors, because I've mentioned it, and think, I don't like these colors. So that's fine. You can always change them. It's easier to change a website. Just if you are doing your website yourself, you'll know how to do that. If you're getting your website designer to do it, they'll know how to do that. The big thing is, once you know what your colors are or what you want them to be, you don't want to use colors in your photography that clash with the colors of your website. Oh, and my little kitty is here. Sorry about that. Um, Dogs come in fairly neutral colors. They come in black, white, brown, gray, golden. But your accessories or the backgrounds that you use in your photos can really clash or work with your website. If that sounds like a lot to do, I mean, at the very least, think in terms of cool versus warm. Do you want cool colors or do you want warm colors? And also think in terms of color families. So jewel tones versus neons versus pastels versus earth tones, because you don't want all of those different things coming together in one uh, mess, as it were. Now that's your basics. If you want to dig a little bit deeper, there are actually some really cool resources out there that are free. And I want to show you something that it's going to be a little bit, don't get scared. But it's something that's offered by Adobe. So if you know Adobe, they are the Photoshop developers. I'm going to share my screen here. And maybe Brooke, you can just let me know when that is seen. Yeah. Okay, great. So don't get scared here. This is a color wheel. It's just basically all the colors of uh, that are available to us. But the cool thing up here is you will see color wheel, and then you can go to extract theme. And the really neat thing here is that you can find out what are your colors in a photo, which can be really, really helpful. Now I'm going to show you a photo here. And I've specifically not chosen a breeder photo because sometimes people get very focused on that. And then what I want you to understand is that this photo was taken in a pet store. This was part of an event. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because I want you to realize that if I could do this in a pet store, in that kind of environment, you can make beautiful photos at home where the puppy knows who you are. They're in an environment that they trust. Their mom is close by. I just want to give you the idea that you can do this. So this is a very bold photo. If we now, what this has done is it has picked out the colors in your photo. So if you look at this one, you want to pay attention to the middle color here, which is actually right now sitting on the blanket. There's a little bubble here. But if you start to move it over to the colors of your puppy, okay, you will start, this is the collar, the purple here, but you will eventually see that this is essentially the colors of this puppy. And you can decide if you want to focus on the darker color or the lighter color, whatever. But for this, I'm going to use the one that's, he's predominantly a darker brown. And then when you click on the color wheel here, you will see these same colors that you had on the other, but now they're mapped on your color wheel. And here is the power of this. You can go over here to color harmony. It will do it for you. And you can pick something like complementary. And now it's giving you all, some of the complementary colors that you can use so that your puppy will look the best. And if you look at this and you say, yeah, but these are all pastels and I'm not a pastel person, you can go down here to change color. It will give you a graph. There are the little, what is the sun, is brightness. So when you go over to brightness, you can start to make these a little bit brighter. They're still complementary, but they're brighter now. You can also, this obviously is a mathematical algorithm. So it's giving you in a straight line exactly opposite complementary colors, but you can always, move them slightly off. They don't have to be exactly in a line. And complementary is only one of the many. So you can pick shades. These are the ones that I use. Analogous, which tends to be in the middle here somewhere. Anyway, I wanted to show you that finding complementary colors are not that hard to get. Now, you might say, but none of these are hot pink. And so the question is, why would we have used hot pink in our colors here in this photo? And it's really because that was the brand's colors. So these are the kinds of decisions you're going to make. If the brand color is important to you, then the hot pink it's going to be hot pink no matter what. But if you want to say, well, no, the puppy color is the most important thing to me, then you can start to build colors that will work with that. One other thing that I do want to show you is you may not have seen it, but if you look at this picture and you decide you want to use very strong saturated color, it will put a color cast on your puppy because the light is reflecting off this pink background and onto your puppy. And once you see it, you can't unsee it, but you'll see it in the shadows. There's some magenta cast. It's actually on his chin here. It's in his coat. And so if you are a breeder that cares very much about the color of your puppy, that it has to be on breed within the breed standard, you don't want these kinds of colors. So what you can do, and this is again getting more advanced, but you can neutralize those colors. So now you look and his fur here is white. This blanket is no longer a magenta, it is white, and it becomes a little bit more clear when you put them beside each other. You can start to really see where that you can see how much magenta was actually in that blanket. It wasn't white, and that is going to translate into your puppy as well. Um, so that's, you'll also see here, I changed the color of his collar just a bit slightly so that it matches more with the background. So that's another thing that you're going to want to consider is if you are going to use accessories like blankets, bow ties, ribbons, choose your colors wisely. You either want them to be matching or complementary, just not random. Um, so you can have different colors in your photo. You just have to know how to. Um, that's why sometimes the best colors can be the neutrals, the grays, the whites, because they don't throw a color cast. But you can change the color in post if that's something that you want to do. And let me show you again that now we're getting very advanced. Here's a kitty. So this is actually a breeder's cat. He's on gray. Um, and this is where that's what the breeder wants. But if you wanted to change this color, I would offer you this, which I did. And what you're doing is you're matching to his eyes. So it's all, that's what color harmony is that nothing is out of, uh, that it just doesn't look right or it's clashing because we perceive, as humans, we perceive color almost subconsciously and it gives us feelings that we don't even know where they're coming from. But I thought that would be interesting for people to see just how much you can do with photography, starting very simply and going all the way up. If this is what you want to do, then yeah, it's absolutely possible.
Incredible, Karen. I learned so much. Oh my gosh, it's amazing how you can transform a photo that way. Incredible. Thank you so much, Karen. And before we let you go, we want to hear a little bit about how we can get your help for those of us who are in Toronto and the GTA, and know that we can't necessarily achieve this ourselves at home and maybe need the help of a professional, at least in the beginning to get going. So, yeah, please share with us a little bit about your services and, yeah, what you have to offer the breeding community here at Paction.
Yes, so I do breeders' photos. I photograph the litters usually once, depending on it's 6, 7, 8 weeks in and around there when they're small. The benefit of working with a photographer is that you are a breeder and that is your expertise. I wouldn't dream of trying to breed animals because I've just simply not gone through the training and I wouldn't do that. So you want an expert. If that's what you're looking for, then you want a photographer that specializes in animals. If you work with the same photographer, the benefit of that is that they will get to know your breed, they'll get to know your brand. I always ask people, like it's not just that I show up and take photos. I'm definitely, asking them so that we can plan this out in some way. You can also get photos of you, your headshot. A lot of people hide on their websites. Your About You page, everybody will tell you should have a photo of you. Now you're looking for a random photo that you're not maybe so proud of. You can get that. You can also get photos of your staff if that's your operation, photos of your location, photos of you interacting with the puppies, feeding time. You can build a stock library if that's what you want to do. And you also have the benefit of if you're not so flexible, because little puppies and little kittens, they're very, very small. And so you either have to get them up off the ground so that you can photograph them kind of straight on, or you have to be ready to lay on the ground and I get into the weirdest positions. So that's that's you can outsource that piece is all the gymnastics that you go through. But yeah, I am in the I live in the GTA, so I service a lot of Southern Ontario. And if you want to get a hold of me, I'm sure it's poshpetsphoto.com, but I'm sure there'll be some information in the show notes.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you for being with us here today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.